After he let the shadow of himself leave his presence, Vergil turned his attention to the girl on the ground, now moaning like she was awakening from a dream, and saw her look up at him in wonder.
Who are you? Said Yakumo, as she saw him looking up at her, and then take his katana sword from the wall before sheathing it.
I go by many names. For now, just call me Vergil, and leave it at that. How are you doing, Yakumo-san? Said Vergil, as he walked over to the girl, and helped her up. I'm fine, Vergil-san. May I ask what you are doing here? Said Yakumo, as she was a little frightened by his presence, and his sword with the signs of a battle happening in the room.
Helping you with the demon running inside your head. It was connected to your clan's bloodline in making extremely powerful genjutsus that pops up every few generations called Edo. Senju Tsunade, who is now the current Hokage of the Leaf, was going over some of the late Sandame's notes on situations within the Leaf, and saw what he did with you. She wasn't exactly pleased with her old sensei's actions in handling your situation, so she wanted me to investigate to see if you were possibly possessed by a demon and kill it. Turns out, you were possessed by a shadow demon called Death Void, and has been in control of you for some time, said Vergil, as he saw Yakumo look at him with shock and surprise at being possessed by a demon. Is that why the Sandame had my abilities sealed away, and why Yuhi Kurenai refused to train me? Said Yakumo, as she saw Vergil nod, and a heavy weight was lifted off the girl's shoulders.
Yes. Your powers were becoming dangerous under the influence of Death Void. But at the time, the sealing methods used on it would only last so long, and your anger at your former sensei along with the Sandame caused the seal to break. I also believe that it was the very demon that possessed you that killed your parents and not the Sandame, said Vergil, as he couldn't blame the deaths of those two on the old, now dead cage. Though it would be a rare thing indeed, and yet the half-devil still felt the old man should have done things differently in handling this situation. So that's how my parents died. I remember now? I was outside painting since it was such a nice day before I suddenly got sleepy. And then when I woke up, I saw my painting was that of my home on fire, said Yakumo, as tears fell down her face, and on instinct ran into Vergil's arms while crying into his shirt.
I'm afraid so. The good news is that after removing Death Void from your body, it should get better, and your skills in genjutsu won't be uncontrollable when you use them, said Vergil, as he saw the girl look him in the eyes, and still had tears running down her face. Does this mean I can be Kurenai's apprentice again? Said Yakumo, as she now had a second chance, and wished to once more try to become a shinobi. I imagine so. After I report to the Hokage about what I did, she can have a Yamanaka Inoichi look in your head to check to make sure Death Void's presence is fully gone, and explain things to Kurenai and having her be your sensei once more, said Vergil, as he saw Yakumo's eyes light up at that prospect, and hugged him tighter.
I would really like that, said Yakumo was going to work twice as hard, and one day surpass her old sensei in the art.
I'm sure. Now let's say we get out of this dark depressing place into an area with more light, said Vergil, as he saw Yakumo nod, and they walked out of the room towards the outside of the house where the Anbu were waiting for them.
Is everything all right, Vergil-san? Said one of the Anbu, as he looked at Yakumo with caution. And so did the others.
Yes, Anbu-san. The problem Yakumo had involving her genjutsus had been resolved and she is free to be outside now, said Vergil, as he saw some of the Anbu were still being cautious, and weren't so sure as him. Still, I think it's wise if Yakumo-san stays here at the house, and where it is safe, said another Anbu, though Vergil sensed there was something more to it. I'm not so sure. I was planning to have Yakumo go see the Hokage with me to deliver my report. Surely you don't believe the Hokage is in danger while in the presence of one of the Kurama? Said Vergil, as he saw the man's right hand twitch on reflex, and it was then that the half-devil knew something was wrong. Sorry sir, but we have to insist that Yakumo stay here until you get back, and that she be left once more under our supervision, said another Anbu, who was secretly reaching for a weapon, and stopped when Vergil turned to look at him. You can insist all you want, Anbu-san, but you have to realize I don't answer to you, and the one I do answer to is higher up in the military food chain currently waiting for my mission to be completed here. Surely you are not trying to stop me from completing my mission given to me by the Hokage now, are you? Said Vergil, as he moved Yakumo with his left arm to slowly move behind him, and reached for his sword with his right.
Don't even bother trying to reach for it, demon. The instant you do, my nephew will hit Yakumo with his kunai and end her life, said the Anbu, who upon removing his mask revealed himself to be the girl's uncle Kurama Unaki, and saw his niece's surprise on her face. Uncle Unaki. Why? Said Yakumo, as she saw the man now scowling at her, and then looking at Vergil with that same detesting look. Because you killed my brother with your powers, Yakumo. After your bloodline was sealed away, the clan petitioned the Sandaime to have you executed, but he refused since he believed you were harmless, and let you live here to paint. But I did my research on our clan, and I know the Ido within you broke the seal placed on you after a while. After Sinead became the new Hokage, I secretly wished to speak with her about doing what the late Sandaime could not, and she too refused to end your life, for the good of the village if not for our clan, said Unaki, as he drew his sword, and so did the others.
Yakumo's demon that controlled her is gone now. You cannot blame her for something that was a problem within your clan in the past as a whole, said Vergil, as he knew this would require the use of his newest devil arm, and brought out his shadowy side he decided to name Shadowy Death. Regardless, she must be punished for the death of her parents, and since this is a Kurama clan affair now, I suggest you leave Vergil-san, said Unaki, as he saw the girl hiding behind Vergil full now, and looked at the half-devil in surprise when the silver-haired boy used his weapon to make a shadowy duplicate of himself complete with sword.
Not going to happen. I'm giving you this one chance to back off right now, or I'm going to decrease the numbers in your clan to be below minor clan status, said Vergil, as he saw some of the members of the clan in Anbu uniform looking at their leader, and saw the man was currently deciding what action to take. Please let me go, Uncle Inaki. I'm sorry for what happened to my parents, but it wasn't my fault. And the thing that was has been killed by Vergil-san, said Yakumo, as she saw her uncle look at her, and then at Vergil with a hand still on his weapon tightening.
No, I don't care if that demon inside of you was the one responsible, it used your body, and you were too weak to fight it off. Therefore, you are just as guilty, and must be killed for the sake of the village, said Unaki, as he readied his weapon, and was about to attack when the shadow of death doppelganger of Vergil attacked first by charging forward before it pierced the man with its sword. That's not very nice. Such a poor excuse of an uncle you are. Well, you wanted to do what was best for your clan, and the village, so I will do the same by killing you, said the doppelganger before pulling out its sword and saw the man collapse. Anyone else want to join him? Said Vergil, as he saw the others shake their heads, and then drop their weapons before retreating.
Wise choice for a bunch of bakas, said the shadow of death before Vergil recalled the shadow, and made sure none of the Kurama clan members that came here were still around. Come on, Yakumo. The Hokage is waiting, and with her temper, one cannot be late without risking a fist to their face with her using such freakish strength, said Vergil, as he saw Yakumo giggle at that, and wrap her arms around his waist. Of course, Vergil-kun, said Yakumo, as she now tried to hide her blush from him, and the two were gone a second later.
Things were looking up for Kurama Yakumo. Chapter 8 Ice Cold Devil.
Vergil sighed, as he watched from afar the famous actress before him, performing the role of being a princess in a new movie, being shot on the boat they were on, and secretly headed to Snow Country by the client that was her manager. As it turns out, the famous actress wasn't just a famous actress at all, but really an actual princess of Snow Country, who lost her father to her uncle for the special treasure the man had, and was never found after his death. Since then, the fallen ruler's only child was in hiding, lost to the elemental countries, and almost whispered to be a rumor to keep the hopes of the people up, despite the oppression of their current tyrant of a ruler.
Vergil himself was not impressed by the woman, who had upon being Konoha had turned down several kids asking for autographs, and made the Namikaze want to slash the pretty heart-stealing face to give the secret princess something to really be besmirched about. Of course, he had to resist the urge no matter how tempting it was since the client needed her, and since the man was paying for the mission, his wish was made temporary law.
Emphasis on temporary.
Perhaps the Hokage should have mentioned how my temper has its limits for people like her. Then again, the money given was a bit higher than our standard rates for a mission like this, thought Vergil, as he cared little for money, but the Hokage did in regards to the funding of the village, and it was enough to have the woman order the half-devil to play nice, despite the woman he was protecting being a whiny bitch at the moment.
Vergil only hoped that whatever her manager had planned would wake the woman up from the self-pity she was drowning herself in. "She's something else when it's time to act," said Azama Sendeyu, the woman's manager, and client responsible for this mission.
Agreed. Still, I suggest you remind the princess of what it is she's neglecting, and make her see what it is she's running away from. I don't like protecting cowardly leaders, and even less when they hide behind their pain, said Vergil, as he looked at Sendeyu out of the corner of his eye, and saw the man nod in understanding.
"I will try to make her understand. You have my word on that," said Sendeyu, as he knew the time would soon be at hand to show Princess Koyuki how much the people of Snow Country needed her. And more importantly, how much she needed them. After the man left, Vergil let out another sigh, as he wished to be home right now, being with the people he cared about, and the women he loved. Haku, Kin, Tayuya, Hinata, Yugito, and even Anko had wormed her way into his heart. They all had their issues from their past problems created by the Leaf, Kumo, and Orochimaru, to name a few. All of which seemed to gravitate each of them towards the young Namikaze's own pain, and help heal their inner injuries that were not of the physical kind from battles. Walking away from the movie being filmed, Vergil stopped at the open door leading into the ship to see Hideki Kakashi there. His still masked face was serious, the ever-infamous orange perverted book he read no longer in his hands, and was now looking like a proper Junin of the Leap. After their little talk months ago, Kakashi had nearly repeated an act of family history, and tried to kill himself like his old man did years before. In the end, however, Kakashi could not complete the act, as he felt it was the coward's way out for himself, and also feared to face his father along with his sensei in the afterlife. He went to Inuichi for therapy due to his mental state being put into question, which brought about his confession of every wrong committed against Naruto when the boy was younger, and thus bringing them to the current Hokage's attention.
After the mental therapy, combined with the physical one at the hospital that kept the Junin immobilized for a whole month, Kakashi was ready to go back to work, and promised on the punishment of slow agonizing death to no longer betray Vergil in any way. Tsunade reluctantly accepted this fact, but gave Kakashi a fair warning that if he broke that promise, there was not a place in the elemental countries the Junin could hide from, and make sure Vergil unleashed the full fury of his power upon the man.
"Did you find what you were looking for in her room?" said Vergil, as he looked at the Junin, and saw him nod. "Yes. She is the princess of Snow Country like her manager claimed," said Kakashi, as he had found the item Koyuki held on to all these years since her father died, and had yet to understand the secret significance behind it.
"Meaning we're going to be in for a cruel confrontation soon upon docking in Snow Country," said Vergil, as he saw Kakashi nod, and knew this was going to suck big time due to the enemy they would face, past foes from the Cyclops' younger days.
Hokage Tower meeting room.
"What is it with you people? It's bad enough I have to clean up my sensei's mistakes, but the simple fact you won't stop bitching about Vergil, and wanting to restrict him from taking part in various missions is pissing me off," said Tsunade, as she was glad Naruto wasn't here right now, since the boy would kill all the people here, and drown her in a mountain of paperwork.
Though it may become something to consider if this keeps up. He's becoming too powerful. That monster has no loyalty to us. How can we trust what we cannot control? said a civilian council member from the merchant district.
Namikaze Vergil has no loyalty to you because you are a civilian and civilians have no business getting involved in shinobi affairs, said Tsunade, as she was not about to have these sniveling little maggots run this place when it was clear they only cared about the money that comes from their positions, and not the people within it. But we, the Shinobi Council, can get involved, and right now we say the boy needs to be restrained from any further missions, said Kaharu, as she saw Tsunade narrow her eyes, and look ready to punch someone right out of the room.
Are you trying to be arrested for treason against the leaf, Koharu-san? Because I think you need to be reminded that your position on the Shinobi Council is only of an advisor. Nothing more. The Sandai may have given you the extra boost in power to further help him along with his own agenda, but I will not give you such leeway, and suggest you be grateful. I don't have your ass thrown to Ibiki for pushing it, said Tsunade, as she had for the past couple months been keeping the councils from draining what power the position of Hawkage had left, and taking what they stole back in the process. Not an easy thing to do.
Nevertheless, the boy is a threat the leaf for what he holds, and for what he is. I say we exile him until there is time in the distant future where we call upon him to aid the leaf, said Danzo, who got approval from some of his lackeys on the councils, and the rest were thinking it over.
Out of the question. An exiling of Namikaze Vergil over such mindless accusations is unfair to him, and you know it. If you are so concerned about trust issues, then perhaps this village shouldn't have treated him so cruelly, and done what the Yondaime wished, said Tsunade, as she saw them sneer, scowl, and or scoff at the notion of following the Yondaime's dying wish.
What the Yondaime wished for is irrelevant. He's dead. What we do here in the land of the living in this village matters, and I say the boy is too dangerous to stay in Konoha. I say he should be exiled, said Danzo, knowing it would then allow him to capture the boy and bend him to the ways of Root.
And I say you have no say in the matter. None of you do. Who I exile or keep in the village is up to the Hawkage. It states that much in the village charter to ensure any matter regarding such things falls squarely on the Hawkage's shoulders, said Tsunade, as she had spent countless time reading all the village laws that could be used against Vergil, and was prepared to counter to council's increasingly growing actions to hurt the half-devil long after the Uchiha incident. Regardless, we are telling you to exile the boy for the good of the village, and that to deny such an act will bring about notice to the Fire Daimyo, said Danzo, as he was hoping she would so he could use his eye on the man and get the feudal lord under his thumb. And under what authority do any of you have to order me to exile one of my shinobi? You seem to forget, I am Hokage of the Leaf, and all the shinobi in this village fall under my command. I will decide if Namikaze Vergil is exiled. I will decide just what kind of restrictions are placed him if any are needed. And I have the authority to kick every one of you sniveling bastards out of here, should you piss me off any further. This meeting is over. Get the fuck out of here before I change my mind and not booting your asses straight through the window, said Tsunade, as she smashed her fist onto the table, and then pointed to the door with anger blazing in her eyes. They didn't need to be told twice.
How could the Sandaime let them keep their positions after the Yondaime died? Said Shizune, as she knew the Sandaime knew about how the Yondaime wanted to remove the people on the councils, and establish a new working government into Konoha.
Because my old sensei was a damn idiot. He kept them on to give himself the political backing needed to come back in being the Sandaime. Also, Danzo wouldn't. Everything the Sandaime did was to make sure Danzo didn't take over in being the Hawkage. But he forgot the people hurt by his moves like Vergil, and Yakumo, just to name a few, said Tsunade, as she was so angry at her sensei for this, and at Jiraiya too for listening to sensei when the old monkey told them to let their godson live in the village to form bonds. She was lucky Vergil didn't go demonic on the leaf. I used to respect him so much. He talked about family, bonding with others, and doing what was right. Now I've found the man has gone against such principles simply to win a game against his old rival for the title of Hokage. It's pathetic, said Shizune with anger in her voice, and Tsunade could not agree with her sooner. I agree. All the more reason I'm glad I took the position from him after Orochimaru's invasion failed, said Tsunade, as she put her hand in front of her face and narrowed her eyes in deep thought. It wouldn't be long before Danzo's contacts in the fire daimyo's court reached the feudal lord, and no doubt would express a great deal of discomfort, being the sexist pig he was, in regards to having a woman running the leaf as its Hokage. For whatever reason Danzo wanted to provoke this decision in her to defy the councils, Tsunade didn't know, but her infamous gambling gut, which had been there for her for good or ill, was now telling the slug princess that Danzo was up to no good with the threat of the fire daimyo hearing about her actions. She needed a way to remove the councils, fast. What do you want to do, Tsunade-sama? Said Shizune curiously. Simple. Get me Jiraiya. Tell him to get his big perverted ass in here right now, or I'll take every one of his perverted orange books in Konoha and have a big bonfire in the village square for all to see, said Tsunade, as she needed the Toad Sannin to focus his skills in the art of spying to look inward at the village and to make sure Danzo's private security force was carefully monitored. Namikaze states a few days later.
I miss Vergil-kun, said Haku, as she wanted to come with him on his mission, but the client had asked only for her lover, and Kakashi be hired for this mission.
Plus, the paperwork for making Haku an official shinobi of the leaf was still not fully processed, and needed to be taken care of before she could even think of doing it. The girls around her currently in the living room nodded in agreement, as they were resting after they spent the past few hours training hard, and talking about things they each saw occurring in the village.
Yeah, I miss his smell, his touch, his taste, said Kin, as she sighed at the memory of lying in bed with the half-devil, and saw the others did too. His cock, said to Yuya, as she saw the girls blush at that, and got glares from two of them in the room. Hinata and Yakumo. To Yuya-chan, you don't rub such things in, and be reminded not everyone here has been with Vergil-kun, said Yugito, as she knew the two girls wanted to be with Vergil in that way, and couldn't really blame them for it.
They probably would have if not for the mission Vergil got from the Hokage to escort the damn spoiled actress through the filming of her movie. They had seen her after the horse-chasing scene incident where Vergil appeared, knocking down the woman's would-be chasers, and being a total bitch to the kids asking for autographs. It took all of their own influence to keep their half-devil lover from drawing his sword on the actress and doing something rash. More would have been spoken, but a knock on the door turned their heads, and Hinata went to answer it to see an angry Sakura with her hands on her hips. From the looks of things, she was not happy with Vergil after what happened with Sasuke, and even less on the fact Team 7 was put on the shelf with her included in that fact. "Where is Naruto Baka?" said Sakura, as she saw Hinata looking at her with narrowed eyes, and wondered when the Hyuga girl got a backbone.
Vergil-kun is currently out on a mission, Sakura. Why do you ask? Said Hinata in a polite tone, but the patience in the girl was thinned just by Sakura being here, and the desire to smack the girl with the super enlarged forehead back to the stone age of the shinobi world. Because I wanted to give that Baka a piece of my mind for what he did to Sasuke-kun and basically crippling his shinobi career. Said Sakura, as she had every intention of pounding her former pet right into the ground, and show him what it meant to leave her side for a bunch of barbaric bimbos with more muscle than feminine beauty.
"Well, he's not in right now, so please stay away from here so you can leave," said Hinata as she moved to shut the door. But Sakura stopped her, and the pink-haired girl was now narrowing her eyes at the Hyuga girl. "Why are you even here?" said Sakura, since she had no idea Hinata would be here much in the home of someone currently on a mission.
Because I live here now, said Hinata, as she wasn't going to explain herself to Sakura, and further cause problems.
"What? Why? Are you his slave now or something? Is he forcing you?" "We should go see the Hokage right now about this," said Sakura, as she tried to push the door open more. But Hinata kept that from happening, and shook her head no. I'm not a slave, Sakura, nor is he forcing me to stay here. If you paid more attention to things around your little world with Sasuke in the center of it, then things would be much easier to see, said Hinata before shutting the door completely, and then locking it. That bitch! Here I am to teach the baka a lesson, free her from his grip, and she shuts the door on me. Me? I am the daughter of a civilian councilman, and I won't be shunned by some hussy with a bigger chest, thought Sakura, as she stormed away while planning to stick it to Vergil, and to Hinata for this insult.
She would show them.
Snow Country.
Namikaze Vergil frowned at the sight before him of the enemy shinobi before looking in his direction and Hitaki Kakashi with Princess Koyuki watching from behind. It was clear Princess Koyuki's not-so-sweet uncle had been responsible for this warm welcome, and it was pissing him off. Surrender the princess to us and we might let you return home alive in one piece, said the leader Roga Nader of his team of snow shinobi with him.
How about you shut up and die, said Vergil as he drew his blade, and Kakashi had 2 kunai at the red for battle.
Oh, we got ourselves a spunky one from the leaf, and not a bad-looking shinobi either, said Kakuyoku Fubuki, as she looked at Vergil with an evil gleam in her eyes, and a grin to match.
You're not my type, said Vergil, as he walked slowly, yet methodically towards his enemies, and looked at 3 snow shinobi with the intent to kill. Kill him. Hadai Kakashi is mine, said Nader as he moved to fight Kakashi while Fubuki and Fuyuku Mamazor went after the half-devil Namikaze. Mizor shot his retractable cable arms at Vergil, but the half-devil easily destroyed it with the 2 quick swings of his sword, and let the invisible energy unleashed from the slash to Yamato destroy the line of chain that went with it. Enraged, the larger man moved to kill Vergil with his own 2 hands, and tried to punch the silver-haired boy's face in. The half-devil easily dodged the attacks to his face, along with the attempts by Mizor to the rest of his body, before rolling around in front of him, and stabbing Shinobi in the back through the chest.
Mizor, I'll kill you, ice style. Sabama Blizzard Jutsu, said Fubuki, as she unleashed her ice jutsu on Vergil, who let the blades of ice pierce his body, and fell to his knee with his head slumped.
No, said Koyuki, as she saw her Namikaze protector go down, and looked at Kakashi fighting Raga to keep him from reaching her. Smirking at her work, Fubuki walked over to Vergil in the belief she had killed him, and grabbed the boy by the throat with an evil look across her face. It left her, however, as she soon found Yamato sticking into through her stomach, and out her back with the half-devil slowly rose from his position, while Fubuki did the opposite.
How, said Fubuki, as her ice jutsu shattered, and Vergil pulled the blade out of her before he began sheathing the blade.
Simple. I'm the devil, said Vergil, as he sheathed the sword fully. And instantly the snow shinobi fell to the ground dead while spraying blood everywhere around her, on the snow-covered ground.
What is he? Said Roga, as he leapt away from Kakashi, and saw his 2 teammates dead on the ground.
Like he said, Roga. He's the devil, said Kakashi, as he saw the man look on in fear at Vergil, and then retreat for a later confrontation.
That could have gone better, said Vergil, as he saw Roga get away, but knew why Kakashi let him go, and was to make sure the princess was safe should this be some kind of diversion. Yes. It means Koyuki's uncle knows she's here and it also means we're going to have to confront him sooner than later, said Kakashi, as he saw Vergil nod his head, and look around through the trees in the area. I sense something. Something demonic is here in this place. Long forgotten and buried beneath the snow. Is this the winter here naturally this cold? Said Vergil, as he looked around trying to sense where the feeling was coming from, and stopped when he felt it off in the distance.
I don't know. It's been so long since I've been here, said Koyuki with Kakashi nodding in agreement.
It's always cold here in Snow Country, I'm afraid. Though I will admit there were times I felt it was unnatural, said Sandayu, as he was old enough to remember, and there were cases in his younger years where the cold winter of the country were so bad that people died from it within minutes.
You think there is something more to the winter of snow country than that of nature being cruel, said Kakashi, as he saw Vergil nod his head, and was telling the Cyclops this was something only the Namakes could handle.
I will deal with it when the time comes, but not at the expense of the mission, and the protection of the princess, said Vergil, as he motioned for Koyuki to follow them, and the film crew was doing the same while filing everything.
We're going to make a fortune, thought the director, as he was so glad his crew were able to capture the fighting, and the drama that was behind it. With Kazuhana Doto.
You let them get away. You couldn't even move to capture my niece, said Dodo, as he was extremely angry now at Roga, and saw the shinobi before bowing further in shame.
Forgive me, Dodo-sama. I lost my teammates during the battle fighting the silver-haired swordsman, while I fought Hate Kakashi, and the Leaf Junin himself is the Yondaime Hokage's only surviving student with incredible skill, said Roga, as he knew Kakashi alone would result in one among the team losing their life. But the boy with him was clearly someone not to be underestimated, and any who did would meet an untimely death.
Very well. It seems the hard way of handling this will have to be done. At least we know where they're headed from where they landed. When that happens we will strike and we will take my niece right out from under them, said Dodo, as he grinned an evil grin, and looked out at the cold outside his window. Yes, Dodo-sama, said Roga, as he knew next time failure happened it would be his last, and not necessarily at the hands of the enemy. Though which side would do him in Roga did not know. Deep within one of the mountain regions not far from them, something stirred slowly awake, and growled angrily at the scent it picked up.
With Vergil. Damn her, damn. That woman, said Vergil, as he moved swiftly through the trees to catch up with the now runaway princess of Snow Country, and was losing a great deal of patience with her in regards to the attitude she was creating.